Yo, what's up, everybody? Carl on duty here. We're going to be doing something a little different tonight. We're going to be hanging out with my good friend, It's That Sly Guy, doing the Duty Squad Pod. Featuring myself, Carl on duty, and It's That Sly Guy here on twitch.tv/Carl on duty and at twitch.tv/It's That Sly Guy. I'm giving him my thumbs up. I hope he gets my attention because I'm giving him the thumbs up. Let's rock and roll. Yeah, buddy.
What up, baby?
Yay. You a moment here?
Yeah.
Yeah, just fading that music out. Fading that music out. What's going on, Sly?
Not much. What's going on, Mr. Carl?
Oh, you know, just stuffing things. Stuffing things in the world of Bungo's Halo 12.
That's
Yeah,
about right. That's where we're at, right?
Isn't that where we're at now? No,
Halo Beyond Spartans.
Halo 12 Beyond Spartans. Beyond Halos. Master Chief Beyond Halos?
Yeah, that's it, right? That's who I've been playing this whole time.
No. Master Chief is in the he's in that cryostasis thing, remember?
Oh wait, he's the one that killed Cade, right? And then we killed him back, and then he got picked up by that weird little robot thing. Right, that was Master Chief.
Are we still talking about the same thing?
I don't know.
Well, that being said, once again, my name is Carl on duty. This is my very good friend, It's That Sly Guy, and this is the Duty Squad Pod.
The Duty Squad Pod, because not only are we your favorite fire team, we kind of are the shit. I had to make the pun at least once. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
I mean, we're a consonant away. Three consonants away from duty, squat, poo. All right. All right. I'm already seeing the memes of the poo, just our poop emojis. Oh my god, why has Bungie not made a poop emoji ghost shell yet? Sly, your thoughts?
Oh my god. Let's do it. It needs to happen.
All right, I'm making a list.
And I need it to have particle effects that look like flies flying around it.
Oh my god, poop emoji ghost shell.
And Bungo, if you don't do it, I think I have an idea for my next emote right here on Twitch.
Writing it down. What's your emote?
So, but yeah, guys, this is the Duty Squad Pod. This is where we're gonna have the fun conversations about everything Bungie, Destiny related, and we're gonna have it from a point of view you might not get every day. For the most part, we're average gamers like the rest of you. We don't get to spend 8-9 hours in the game every day. It's not a thing.
No.
But we love it.
I mean, that's part of why we started this. We are trying to represent the majority of the Destiny community, the 40-hour-a-week retail, the guys who and gals who don't have the time to be able to put 80 hours a week into a game, so that way they can try to then make 80 hours of content if they are into that realm. We're here for the average Joe and Jane, except we're the average Carl and Sly.
It's true. But with that, you ready to hop in? Because I think there's a lot to talk about tonight.
I mean, not for nothing. I don't even know where to begin other than at the top of the list.
So what's the top of the list?
Well, I mean, top of the list, I mean, we did just recently the other day get a little trailer that Bungie put out there, and I have my thoughts as to why they put the trailer out there. But they gave us a list of and some gameplay of new exotic, Sly.
Oh my god, and they look so good,
Mm,
baby.
mm. Now we do have a returning exotic from Destiny 1 with a really cool new modern 2020 US military camo.
Mhm.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
No Time to Explain, but it got a buff. I don't know what happened since we first met the Exo Stranger, but the No Time to Explain looks like it's been hanging out with the Arc guys and getting little buddies.
Yeah.
You know, what was it like? Time dimensional or time portals?
Alternate timeline, buddy.
Alternate timeline buddy. I'm sorry.
So when you hit, I believe it's precision hit, right?
Yeah.
It gives you a stasis effect on your enemy, and as you stack that effect up, it's going to give you alternate timeline buddies. Little buddy will come out and be shooting from another timeline.
So, you know me.
And you Aeon Swift.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the one.
Is it Aeon Swift?
No. Aeon Swift is the one that does all of the when you use your ability, Titans get this and Warlock. No, it's the
No, you're thinking about my Getaway Artist build.
Getaway Artist. Yes, sorry.
Double buddies.
You're gonna be running double buddies.
Sly, I have already had. Okay, we know that some things are changing. We know that a lot of abilities are changing. There's even rumors and speculation that subclasses will have a lot more customization. And I know you and I briefly discussed that last night. I have not had the chance to dig deeper, other than 5 minutes of Google search, to see if it's valid. But again, I already have the idea in my head of having the artwork for the alternate timeline buddy and the arc buddy making like the super strong arm like dabs like the Schwarzenegger. Like I want that to be a t-shirt, you know what I mean? But like not having a t-shirt, like it looks like a regular plain t-shirt, but it's on the back because they're floating over your shoulders. I already have the design. That's copyright.
I'm already picturing you personally, the Getaway Artist.
Yeah.
No Time to Explain. A good SMG in your second slot with what is it, Osmosis?
Oh yeah.
Or that gives you grenade energy?
Oh, the Demolitionist.
Or is that Demolitionist? That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be buddied
Sly
to the roof.
Sly, I'm gonna raise you. I'm gonna take your thought process on this, and I'm gonna raise you. So guys, this is what we're talking about like we're just everyday average Joes. What do you think we do while we're at work, staring at the wall? During the grind, we're thinking about this game. We're watching the videos that all the other content creators put out, and we're applying our own personal twists. Sly, I'm gonna take that everything you just said. I'm gonna raise you one higher. How about a Demolitionist Substance Ikelos SMG while I'm using Global Reach? So I've got a buddy over here, and then I can switch to this buddy who then makes a little orb buddy who can then blow up everything in a nuclear radius.
You're ridiculous. Your mind works on a whole nother level. That's some Einstein shit right there.
This is how my mind works, and this is the kind of stuff that I think about at work, staring at my iPad, typing notes for people of like, oh, this person broke their phone. Oh, I really think that I could. I wonder if I did this with Nezarek Sin. Like I wonder if I put this mod on, and then all of a sudden I start typing in like the words that I'm thinking, and I'm like, no. There is no Yalahorn in Destiny 1 anymore.
How did this lady break her iPhone with a cloud strike?
Do you have a cloud strike backup? Oh God, now I'm talking about work. Moving on. Good segue though.
Speaking of cloud strike.
Yeah, my guy, Cloud Strike. Talk to me about Cloud Strike, Sly. What makes this gun so cool?
So it's a sniper.
Yep.
A sniper. We're already using this to get like max DPS a lot of the time. On precision, now stick with me. Hits, not kills. Hits. it sends an electric blast as well, like a thunderbolt into the target, dealing damage. Now, if you chain together some precision hits, it forms not just thunderbolts hitting your target, but an actual storm hitting your target.
Excuse me, sir. You're being a little aggressive.
Not to mention that it is probably the coolest artwork I've seen on a weapon in all of Destiny 2. It is literally a warlock staff with a scope on top and a body underneath.
Yeah, I'm I'm looking at this thing right now, and I'm pretty impressed with the design. I want to know the lore. I can't wait. I can't wait for Bife to get a hold of this thing.
Here's the other thing I want to know. Because this is what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Raid team goes in.
Mm-hmm.
One Arc Warlock dropping a buddy. 3 members of the team running No Time to Explain to get other buddies. So you've got what? 6? You've got 6 in your fire team. 6 Arc buddies because of the rift.
Yep.
3
Yep.
No Time to Explain buddies. And then you've got 3 guys pegging the boss with a cloud strike. Do the storms stack up on top of each other?
I bet they do. This game is going to be so stupid soon. I can't wait.
Like,
I mean,
just turned...
Sly, you know what the only thing they could do to step this up another notch? You know, the only thing they could do? They could give us a chainsaw for a sword.
Well,
I mean, you know.
What if the chainsaw sword also was like a cool shield that like you use like the enemy's attack to rev it up or something?
Oh my God, you mean like the Lament? The new chainsaw blade coming out in Destiny 2 Beyond Light?
Man.
This thing is so cool. It looks like, I don't know if you've noticed, but it looks like it's got Vex parts mixed with, it almost looks like Amalon parts. It's so cool looking. And that cleaver at the top.
Yeah, it definitely is a dope looking. But here's my biggest thing. Like the charge up is cool to do the spin to win.
Yep.
You know, cool. You're chainsawing through
Yep.
people. But what's one of the biggest problems when you're up there just spin to win with your guillotine right now? What's one of the biggest problems you run into?
I mean, honestly, the biggest problem I run into if I'm working on a boss is when they stomp.
They stomp, right? And
they stomp, and if there's an ad, if an ad even looks at you while they're stomping, you die.
Now, so what if you took that ability to be at their feet dealing massive damage, and then added the ability that when you hit with that sword, you're gonna heal yourself as well?
It almost eliminates my problems.
Oh man,
it would be almost as if I had Now this is on hit or on kill?
This is on damaging an enemy will heal the wielder.
Damaging an enemy. So can we just imagine, if we will? Oh, I don't know. Let's look at some bullshit we can pull off real quickly, like with this. Oh, I don't know. Bottom tree Voidwalker. Combining bottom tree Voidwalker with, again, on hit or on damaging an enemy, you get your health back. So if I damage an enemy, I get my health back because of the sword, the chainsaw.
Yep.
And if I kill that enemy with with bottom tree Voidwalker, I then instantly heal anyways. It's almost as if this would be a secondary way for you to be unstoppable, like ultra tank. The only thing that could probably make this better is if there's going to be something that'll give warlocks the ability to, I don't know, get an overshield of some kind.
Ooh, I don't know, but
you know, like our Titan friends can.
Speaking of shields, have you seen that sword also will have basically an intrinsic anti-barrier?
Yeah.
I think that's like somebody walked into Bungie and was like, "All right, look, guys, we've made some really strong weapons here this last season. Like that
Yeah.
guillotine it's kind of ruining Gambit for a lot of people. They melt the primeval way too fast with that thing. Let's pull it back. We can't make weapons that are too broken." And Fred in the back was like, "Challenge accepted. I got this, boss. I can do it."
I can just like see it. It's like Christmas, you know. Yeah. Hey, Santa's like, all right, no one in the Destiny community gets anything. They've all been naughty, and Bungie's sitting there stuffing stockings just with fun shit, and they're just like, "You're right, Santa. They ain't getting nothing. Not a damn thing. They ain't gonna get no Salvation's grip."
Ding ding ding. Oh, Salvation's grip.
Salvation's grip. You know, Salvation's grip is a new weapon that it's a new weapon that is using our new elemental stasis in Destiny 2. Sly, tell me a little bit more about Salvation's grip and why we're gonna love it.
So there's a little bit of a debate, but I'm gonna settle the debate right now, based on my opinion on what the gun looks like. It's a grenade launcher. There have been some people that say it could be a rocket launcher. I think it doesn't look like a rocket launcher at all to me. It looks like a grenade launcher.
Didn't they clarify it is a grenade launcher? Didn't we get clarification?
They may have. I didn't see it if they had. If they have,
okay,
great. If not, I'm going on record without having seen it. It's a grenade launcher.
Sure.
It looks like Anarchy. So like it looks like a cool Anarchy, like stasis-y feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, projectiles fired will create like stasis crystals, freezing targets.
Yeah.
So they're playing into that like ice of power. You know, I want to be Elsa and let it go and just freeze everybody in the world.
Well, the interesting thing about this too, now there's not many guns in this game that you charge with, right? There's very few things that you charge, right? When I think of charging, I think of like handheld supernova, right? Where you want to time it just right, and if you get that extra moment, I mean, there's an entire exotic around reducing the time for charging, right? The Crucible knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you charge this weapon, though, it actually increases the number of the ice crystals and the freezing radius of the projectiles that are hit as well. So if I'm hearing that correctly, if we're walking into a PvE environment, let's say something where, I don't know, there's a thrallway that we are, I don't know, just playing it. Maybe we're just grinding Nightfall strikes, you know, and it's not like, we haven't done this one once or twice or 20 times before. We just happen to remember, oh, there's going to be a thrallway in 3 seconds and I can charge this up. Imagine the potential this is going to change the dynamic on the strikes that you and I already play. The strikes that are being maintained.
There's one that I want to add to that, but we'll get to that exotic piece in a minute.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Oh yeah. But it does take us, we move out of the weapons that they showed off into the armor.
Yeah.
And they gave us the Icefall Mantle, which I think you were hitting on a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one for in all of the time that I've ever played Destiny, the only time that I've ever hated playing against a particular subclass, and I mean hated like I felt it was unfair, was when we'd play against One-Eyed Mask Titans that would get that temporary overshield.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This thing essentially takes that concept, makes it an exotic, and just says, go F yourself. Now you get an overshield whenever you want just by hitting your barricade. You don't have to get killed by that person. You don't have to get a kill on that person that's marked. I'm just gonna eat my ability and get an overshield whenever I want.
Yeah,
that's gonna be crazy.
I think it's going to be crazy if it's to the extent that the One-Eyed Mask was when One-Eyed Mask was running rampant.
Yeah, it was so broken. It was broken.
If they've pulled the shield down a little bit, I think it could be one of those tools that, like, yeah, it's a good use tool,
Yeah.
but it's not broken in PvP.
Well, and the problem with one-eyed mask is that the overshield amount was the same overshield you would get on a res, like in PvE, right? Or if it was like if you spawning in, you'd get a full double of your HP. The only thing that could kill you is a high impact sniper shot. You know, like that one that you and I got when we were playing 3v3 the other week.
Oh yeah,
which was amazing.
Oh yeah.
But where I'm going with that is that this isn't just an overshield. This is the Titan's barricade as a shield. If that is as strong as it sounds like it's going to be, even if it's 50% of the barricade's normal HP, that means they're going to be able to tank rocket launcher shots and live without having a scratch.
Yeah. So here's what I think. I think, what is it now? It's about 200 damage to kill an enemy, right?
Yeah.
On average, it's about 190 to 200. So I'm looking at it going, the shield's probably going to be anywhere from 75 to 100, 120, 125, somewhere right in there, right? And if it lasts for only 2 or 3 seconds, then it's a great way to jump into an encounter or like try to save yourself from an encounter that they jumped you on.
Right.
If it lasts as long as a barricade lasts and has that much health or more health than that, then like no Titan will use anything else in Crucible ever.
It makes me like wonder, like, for example, like let's go back to what you were talking about there a moment ago. So how about we have like a thought process of low HP, more frequent. Like, for example, let's say that it has a stock HP of like 100, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's 200, it'll give you an extra 100. You'll be able to tank anything other than a sniper shot. Let's just establish that, okay? If it's more often and it's less, think about like if you're going in for a res in trials and you're juking, you do that thing where you go back and forth and you're kind of teabagging to try to juke the snipe. Even if they try to body you with something like a gnawing hunger, that could be enough HP to pull off the res and survive enough to still with your teammate, get the person.
Yeah.
Versus super long cooldown, full-fledged barricade HP. I don't think they would do that.
Because if it's got a super long cooldown, like you
would have to replace the super, not the barricade,
Yeah. It was like, what is your average, like 12 seconds for your class ability to come up? Like it's something ridiculously low. So like, if that's what I'm saying. If it's like 100 and you get it for 3 or 4 seconds, like you're gonna have it up more often than not, but it's not gonna be game changing. You're gonna tank 1.5 more pistol shots,
right?
Like hand cannon shots, right?
Yeah, and that's the headshots. Let's be fair, but
headshots,
3 body.
If you're going against someone like me, you're tanking 1 extra pistol shot because I'm rocking them 110 hand cannons and I'm hitting 91 to the dome. Because so like
there's a whole thing on how 110s are going to be so back in the meta if they don't do something about a 180 auto rifles.
I
mean, I feel like they need to buff scout rifles. Can we just talk about that for a minute? I feel like leave everything the same, buff scout rifles, just a smidge.
I disagree, because if you leave so here's my issue. And great YouTuber.
Please.
I'm gonna plug somebody real quick because they said it, and I'm not. I don't steal information. I broaden the scope that other people can have. True Vanguard.
Yep.
Was talking about it on a YouTube video the other day. The TTK for an auto rifle only aiming at body, not even aiming for max, is still competitive with hand cannons aiming for the head, scout rifles aiming for the head. And it's the easiest to use. Auto rifles are the most accessible because you hold the trigger down and you just kind of
spray and pray.
Right. So like, I do think that they need to pull back. They buffed auto rifles. Auto rifles needed a buff drastically where we were before they buffed it. I think they buffed it a little too much. They need to pull back.
Well,
that TTK all chest should not be as good or better than hand cannons, scout rifles all to the head.
Well, I don't necessarily think it's a problem with auto rifles as a whole, though. I think it's the 180s. Like everything, you think about it. Every time that they do this, the meta shifts. There will always be, no matter what, there will always be via mathematics a best gun in game, and everyone will use the best gun in game. Where I'm going with this is, you're right. Auto rifles are in a very, very good place. 180s are too strong right now. I wish that they were able to tweak individual damage numbers like they treat exotics. I mean, maybe I'm going a little bit off the deep end here, but like, remember when they nerfed Gallahorn, specifically the Wolfpack rounds? That was a specific ability, and that was attributed to a rocket launcher. There's other rocket launchers that did the same amount of damage as Gjallarhorn, but the Wolfpack rounds gave you that extra, and they nerfed it as an individual damage number. Why couldn't they do that with just 180 auto rifles? Just drop them down, maybe 2 or 3 damage per shot. You know what I mean? That way you're still balancing it, but you're dropping that one archetype. Because I'll be honest with you, if I'm in Crucible and I'm using a 450 horror story or a 360 false promises, like that time you and me were destroyed in threes when I was using double auto rifle. But here's why I love that gun. It feels like I'm using a scout rifle, like a full auto, like old school scout rifle. That's why I like false promises, because it's that slow enough speed where it doesn't feel like an AR. It feels like a full auto scout, which was my favorite archetype back in the day.
Yeah, like what was it, Vision of Confluence that you got from Vault of Glass? Yeah.
One of the best guns in the game. One of the staples that doesn't exist anymore. We don't have that in this game. And if we do, it's Randy's throwing knife, and Randy's is good, don't get me wrong. But if you put a Randy's up against any basic roll 9 hunger, not even a god roll, it's going to get shit on, regardless of the skill.
I agree.
You know? Yeah, anyways, we're way off track. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay.
I do think you're right, but I do think that there's always going to be a meta, but there is a time in D1 where you could run into a match and Oxsaw, Hopscotch Pilgrim, what was the pulse that you got from Omnigul? Grasp of Malik?
Grasp of Malik sounds right. That sounds right.
Yeah,
I'd have to Google it. I'm sorry.
Hawkmoon, Thorn, that was
pre-nerf Thorn. That was D1 Thorn pre-nerf. All that shit existed.
You could go, might have met multi-tool. You could go into
Vex Mythoclast.
But you could go into a D1 match.
Yep.
And you could honestly see the Doctrine of Passing. You could honestly see a gun from any, weapon type.
Yeah.
In Crucible, and it would perform as well as the others, depending on who was using it.
Yeah.
I just feel like now, I consider myself maybe a slightly above average Crucible player. I'm not great.
All right, let's pull up our stats. Come on. Don't you're good. I'm pulling up stats. If you don't,
I'm really not good. Like, if you pull up my stats, it's going to be very low. Much lower than you think, because you forget how many times I've deleted characters and had to go into Crucible with white and blue weapons.
Can we talk about that for a minute? Can we just talk about that? I have a question for you. I know that you did one for a charity stream.
I've done 3 for charity streams.
Okay. Were all of your deletions in general 100% of them for charity?
100% of my deletions have been for charity.
You're a madman. You're a madman. You are so generous. That is insane.
Like the recent issue with my stuff is I gave my PlayStation to my brother, and when I was looking at the possibility of unlinking accounts, I hit one button too much, and I did unlink my accounts. So I was playing on PC, and I was like, I'm not going back to Xbox because that's where everything is. So I just started playing on PC, and that's where I grew my power level. So when I went to link it back, I was like, my power level's higher here than on Xbox. All the weapons I have on Xbox are getting, sunset anyway, so might as well just stay here.
All right. Let's see here.
He's going to be sadly disappointed when he sees. While you're looking up sets, I'm going to go ahead and hit you with this next armor piece, okay?
Yeah, hit me.
The Precious Scars, which has a really cool look to it, in my opinion.
I like the name, too. You know, like it almost implies it's like it was painful, but
yeah,
it was like necessary.
It has a really cool, like, so this isn't exactly, but it looks like it's this beautifully ornate, almost like the wedding china that your parents had in the cupboard back in the day, you know? But it looks like you hit it with the football. It's been shattered and you tried to glue it back together.
Yeah.
Right? These precious scars.
Yeah.
Which I think is just the coolest thing. Upon revival, the Titan gains an overshield aura that protects the wearer and nearby allies. So my question with this one, does the Titan have to be revived? Or can he be revived? Is it like Crest of Alpha Lupi back in the day? Because remember, we used to all rock Crests of Alpha Lupi. That way, no matter what, somebody was in that revival that had it on to get the speed revive.
I don't get the phrasing on this.
That's my issue.
So currently, and this is why this sentence just doesn't make any sense to me, because currently in game, in PvE, if I die and Sly reses me, I spawn with an overshield and he gets an overshield. What is this exotic other than what's already in the game?
No.
An overshield aura that protects the wearer and nearby allies. Isn't that just like an extension to the shield, what you already get?
Yeah, so this means we're in cover. Like me, you, and Rican are in trials. Rican goes down, you push the res and can't get it.
Yeah.
And you have to dip back behind cover. I push the res, get it. It gives me, Rican, and you that's behind cover nearby.
So we can hightail out of there and okay.
It extends that shield to anybody on your team that's close by, not just the two that were involved in the actual res.
Okay.
So I do think it'll be a good like trials, more competitive, especially if you're on a team that moves, you know, as a unit really well.
Yeah. Slot, you are actually not a terrible player.
What? I'm what, 90.97 as an average right now, somewhere right in there.
Kill assists to death, you're a 1.1.
Yeah.
Actual kill death ratio 0.79.
Oh, so yeah, that's.
But you've got a 54% win rate, which means that if you're on the team, there is a 4% increase of your team winning, which means you actually do a ton of work. I'm a percentage guy. I got to look at it that way.
Yeah. So my thing is a lot of the stats are skewed because, you know, I've played through now 9 times.
Yeah.
Which means I've played a bunch of Crucible because that's how I ranked up.
Yeah.
With white and blue weapons and blue armor and stuff like that. So like those numbers are skewed because you have to take into account all of those. But what you really have to take into account is the Mask of Bakris.
Oh, baby. Okay. This has got me so hyped. Okay. Hunters get blink again, but you don't get to do it in the air. I feel like that was the Warlock Council. Being like hunters have bitched and complained for years, guys. We got to give them something. Fine, we'll give them blink back, but you can't do it in the air.
Yeah, I just picture like a day at Bungie.
Right?
Somebody's creating this exotic and it's like, we're giving hunters blink back, and Deej happens to be walking by,
and he's like,
no, that's a Warlock thing. You don't give hunters blink back, okay?
I already took that away. They don't get it back.
And they were like, oh, did I say blink? I mean, he's gonna teleport on the ground instead of dodge rolling.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's not Blink, Deej. It's not Blink.
No, absolutely not.
But I do think the fact that it's a teleport and not Blink is kind of cool, because I think with a hunter triple jump, right, or double jump, like that ability to teleport and then immediately be spamming your jumps afterwards, like the escapability is going to be really cool.
I feel like it's going to be too cool, like all over the place, you know?
Oh, yeah?
Well, no, I mean, the mobility of hunters has already been a topic of debate in the community, especially in D2, with double dodge and invisibility. And there's been a small group of people, and I don't know if I necessarily subscribe to this fully, but I hear where they're coming from. And their whole thing is that they feel that hunters just innately are overpowered in regards to their mobility, because this is a multiplayer game, and if you are planning on playing the Crucible, hunters will have now dodge, which now they have a teleport again, invisibility, and depending on their subclass, they've got 3 roaming supers that are ridiculously hard to kill compared to all the other subclasses of the other main 2. Like if you compare it, let's see, they've got their not Blade Dancer now. What is it? Arc Strider,
Pole Dancer.
Oh yeah. They've got electric stripper.
Yeah.
They've got my favorite Pokemon was Haunter, and I play with Switchblades. and then they've got I'm sorry.
Golden Gun.
Yeah, and then they've got Golden Gun, which again is a roaming super that it's point and click and you die with keyboard and mouse.
Like, here's my thing though.
Okay.
Like,
I'm off my soapbox.
You know me, at the Duty Squad Pod, we are a fire team made up entirely of Warlock, because Warlock is
the best. Unless you want to blink.
And my least favorite is a hunter.
But I
think the thing that keeps them alive is their mobility.
Yeah.
I do think that they're the easiest to kill if you can line up your shots, even in their super.
Okay, and hear me out on this, because I agree with you. But hunters have the ability to regain health on dodge with their dodge. Hunters have the ability to regain health with their melee, just like Titans and Warlocks do. But then they also get the mobility on top of it, which is the part that makes me a little bit upset, because you don't get that mobility with Titan. You want a Titan skate on PC, you have to program macros. You used to be able to do that on a controller on a PlayStation, man. Now you gotta buy a $3,000 computer with an RTX 3090 just so you can stream it, so that way you and your friends can be able to watch each other's. Just so you can have a macro to do the thing that you could do with a controller. Like I feel like it's like 100 steps up and then like 101 steps down. Like really.
Yeah,
anyway,
I'll agree that other mobility needs to be improved.
Like, but Warlocks get one dodge, one like in air. They get one.
I mean, how many do Titans get?
You used to get one now, and it was an exotic. Now you get 0.
Yeah.
You guys need to get that back. They need that back.
Just
saying.
But yeah, so I look at it from the D&D aspect coming into it, and I look at like, well, Titans are your barbarians. Like, they're not fast to begin with.
No.
Warlocks are your spell snipers. They need to sit back at range, make sure nobody gets close to them. Hunters are the rogues, right? They're the ones that need to kind of get in, quick hit, get out. So like it makes their mobility makes sense in my mind because of that. But another hunter exotic that I'm kind of meh on.
I know what you're gonna say.
Arthur's Embrace.
Yep. Okay. I feel like this one. I want to hear your thoughts first, because I feel like this back and forth has been smooth, but I want to hear your thoughts first, because you at least have played Hunter in Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
I have never played Hunter in Destiny 2 other than to grind bullshit to get XP for an exploit that we all did one season. Remember that? Where you make a character go to the tower and blah, blah, blah. To exploit. Yeah. What was it? It was the Olympics, right? The Hunters versus Titan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that at least for like an hour and it worked.
So here's my thing. And I think this is just because we don't understand the verbiage is not great here. Hunter's weighted knife gains a second ricochet. It'll bounce off 2 walls. Now, I will say, having played the Golden Gun Hunter with the weighted knife, it does feel like you might have a little bit more like target acquisition off of a bounce. Like if you can get a ricochet, like it might snap to the head a little bit better. It might, kind of come more towards that grit. So second ricochet, cool. Rapid precision hits gain a damage bonus. You can temporarily stagger an enemy. Rapid precision hits with 1 knife that I only get back on a precision kill. How does
unless they're okay.
Is it my gun? Like, can I get it? Can I charge up the stacks with my gun and then throw my knife? And that's what it is?
No, I think what I know what it is, and I don't think you'll like it.
Okay.
The Hunter's weighted knife gains a second ricochet. Notice the punctuation next to that, right? Rapid precision hits gain a
damage. It's going to be a penetrating knife.
Rapid precision hits gain a damage bonus and contemporarily. It's talking about rapid precision hits with the knife.
Yeah.
2 precisions.
Knife.
Who's hitting 2 precisions with a throwing knife that bounces? Like, unless, and hear me out, and this is the part that I think you will like, unless they have it, like you said, with actual aim assist, where it seeks targets.
I think the only way it works still is if it's penetrating like a sniper. We've all gotten those clips where people line up perfectly and you go boom and it's 3 kills, 1 shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know.
So I think, but that's a very finicky I'm gonna wear this exotic piece. That way, one time in the next year, I'm gonna be playing Crucible and 3 people are gonna line up and I'm gonna get, a kill, and another kill. But that last, it doesn't even make sense because typically, if you hit a precision shot with a knife, it's a kill anyway.
Yeah.
So I just don't know the verbiage. I think there's something more to the exotic that we're not understanding with the short sequence that they give us. And
I think that's the point, and that's where I want to make sure that we end off on, because right now, we're still in the speculatory state with a lot of these.
Oh yeah.
They gave us. And I've been holding this pun in this whole podcast, the tip of the iceberg.
Ooh, just the tip.
I hate my life. But what I don't hate my life on as a Warlock main, like we've already established, Dawn Chorus.
Yeah.
The Warlock's Daybreak projectiles deal extra damage and cause enemies to burn on contact, period. Gain melee energy each time a burn damages a target, period. It doesn't say what kind of burn, by the way.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know me, Sly.
Everything in your kit is going to start burning.
If No Time to Explain is for any reason, and you'll know where I'm going to say this, what do the bullets look like? What does the gun look like when it fires? It looks like it's arc. I know it's kinetic. Do you think they're going to make it arc?
Actually, No Time to Explain?
Mm-hmm. It used to be kinetic in D1.
I don't. I think it's a stasis weapon.
So it's going to be a special. So it's going to be a special, an elemental.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to see myself with Monte Carlo. No Time to Explain. And this exotic, if you catch my drift, because you know how there's the mod system. there are mods that will allow you to use your melee to gain super energy.
But how are you gonna run Monte Carlo and No Time to Explain?
I didn't think about that. Double exotics, friends. Monte Carlo would not work. I may have to sacrifice having a buddy to have unlimited firepower, literally.
Yeah, the melee from, but also look at it with there's a subclass inside of that Dawnblade Warlock that already has burn on melee, burn on grenades. Now your swords will burn.
Top tree. And it does extra damage. And that particular, if I remember correctly, is the tree that the projectiles seek targets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're going to do more damage, burn more. It's going to be a one-hit kill in PvP.
Are you ready for not only the last, but my favorite exotic, though, that we've seen?
Yeah.
Necrotic Grip. Necrotic Grip.
Yeah, no, okay, no, it's the erotic grip, all right?
It is for me, baby.
I mean, at this point, let's just be real. It is an erotic grip, but let's talk about this. Give me the gobbledygook on it. Give me the
short
blurb.
And sweet.
The blurb.
Short and sweet. Warlock melees will now add a poison damage with this exotic to an enemy that's hit.
Right. They call it a corruption, right?
Yeah, corruption. So like a necrotic poison damage over time. If that enemy dies and there's other enemies close by, that corruption spread like a disease.
Hey, you know what's really interesting about that? Let's go back to build crafting, because you know how my brain works.
Oh, yeah.
So corruption, it's just as melee attacks corrupt enemies with increasing damage over time, which makes me think that if you punch a higher enemy, like a yellow bar or like a shielded red bar, that you can punch them multiple times because it'll increase damage over time, right? So it may increase the dot damage. My question is, so defeating a corrupted combatant spreads the corruption, right? So they have to get corrupted first. So let's go back to that first part here. Let's say a shielded enemy or something like that. If you defeat them with your melee, right, and they're corrupted, let's say that we did something to make them corrupted, right? And we got our melee back using one of our multiple abilities that we have to instantly reset our melee. If we use something like an arc subclass with arc web, for example, on Warlock, would that chain all of the arc web, not necessarily killing all the enemies? Would that then give them all the corruption?
That's a good question.
And if it changed to the weaker enemies, do they get corruption, die, and then spread it? Does it double dip?
Yeah. So here's my issue, because I was going a different way with this exotic.
Okay.
I was thinking Celestial Fire.
Ooh.
The super ranged melee.
Yeah.
I can see you coming from a mile away, throw my melee out, hit you. You're now taking damage the entire time you're pushing me and then spreading it to your friends if you die.
Yeah.
But here's my issue with that. I know it used to not. It may now. But that used to not count as melee kills towards bounties.
It's fixed now.
Okay.
So that's it was fixed because it wasn't working for sun bracers for a minute either. It was the same code, same part of the code.
And then the other thing is like arc web. When you kill somebody with arc web, I don't think, like, if you're in PvP, I don't think it pops up as a melee kill, right? Doesn't it pop up as like it's an arc kill, like an explosive or something?
It's the same as when I get a kill with my arc buddy. It's considered an ability kill, but not.
Yeah, but not a melee.
Not a melee.
Yeah.
Not a. It's just like a bonus.
So I do think that they already have some system set up in play to potentially limit the amount of broken that this exotic can get to.
Oh hell no! We'll find a way. I'm already thinking of ways in my head.
Find a way.
I mean, okay. Let's get really crazy. Let's go hardcore on here. Let's go. Oh, I don't know. How many subclasses do warlocks get? We haven't even thought about stasis. I'm thinking about what. Here's the one thing I'll say. if stasis comes into play with this, we don't even know what that'll do. Do the frozen enemies just stay encased in ice till they die and then explode? Like,
So
we don't even know.
this was actually what I said earlier in the show.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna bring up when we get to another exotic.
Mm-hmm.
The Salvation's Grip. I know that I'm coming up on an area that has a bunch of enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm going in, I jump up because I'm a floaty boy with my Salvation's Grip charging. I drop that on all of the enemies. They freeze. I then drop my Celestial Fire. And as they're sitting there frozen, they're just sitting there taking that dot damage and passing it on and on and on and on and on to anybody frozen inside of that little web there.
Yeah.
Like, I do know that they've talked about, so to answer your question about if you freeze somebody, do they just sit there till they die? I do know that like it looked at first, like if you were frozen, you were just kind of screwed. But they've said something at one point in time about like there are ways to get out of it, but it's going to take some health to do that. So if you have enough health, like you might be able to break out or something along those lines. We obviously don't know what that looks like, but they've said something along those lines of like, oh yeah, you can, like, you're not necessarily just dead when you're frozen, but like it's gonna hurt when you get out.
So like, it's like, are you talking about like in Crucible, if an ability or something triggers where you freeze, you'll be frozen, but you like if you unthaw, you're gonna have, it's almost like walking through a barricade. You'll have like maybe 5 hit points. Yeah,
or like they've talked about, maybe they've talked about exploding creatures that are frozen, like enemy combatants that are frozen. Like you can hit them with something else and it'll explode them. Maybe there's a potential that you can explode it yourself, but it's going to take your own you're going to take damage doing it from like the ice shards. We have no clue what that's going to look like. But
how do we not know that? Again, there's so much unknown here. Here's a thought. Here's a thought that I don't think anyone's been talking about yet. Is stasis going to affect friendly fire?
Oh yeah.
Like I think like, okay, like we can throw a grenade. I know there's that hunter grenade you throw at the wall and it builds a bridge, right? That everyone can use, right?
And I think everybody gets grenades that do that.
Right.
They did come out and say everybody's going to get those.
So I'm thinking about like the arc grenade. You throw it at your feet. If you got a risk runner, that's great. You hurt yourself, but you get risk runner, right? But if you throw it at your feet and it's stasis and you freeze yourself, do you hurt yourself and freeze yourself? Or if you have something where it explodes and does damage, is there like shrapnel? Does it hurt you and or your allies? Is there a trade-off to using the powers of the darkness?
So I will say that it will probably hurt you.
Yeah, at least
just like your arc grenade, at least. But you can't like I can't be in Crucible with you, see you're running risk runner and be like, oh Carl, I'm an arc subclass. Here's my pulse, and have you charge your own.
Right. My thought process though is that is Bungie going to go balls deep and actually make it a trade-off to this immense power? Like, can you hurt yourself and kill yourself with your own stasis?
I think you might can kill yourself, but I think as far as like in like friendlies go, and I'm gonna go to another game that I've played a lot of, Smite.
Yeah,
and Smite were gods. They have Ymir, the frost giant, right? And one of his abilities is an ice wall that he pulls up out of the ground. I think like in Smite, when you're playing with somebody who doesn't know how to play Ymir, they put their walls in the wrong spot, and you're like chasing after the enemy that like is one shot, and you're like pulling that last shot up, and then all of a sudden you have a wall go up in front of you, and you're like, "What the hell, dude? Like I had him," and you're like just looking at your teammate. I think that's more along the lines of what stasis is going to be for friendlies.
I was about to say
you're going to see something, and I'm going to be like ice grenade because I think I'm going to get the kill, and then it just blocks you off, and nobody gets the kill.
So that was actually going to be my next point here. I'm also going to look to another game with such a sweet girl who builds walls of ice specifically to fucking terrorize her teammates, and that's Overwatch, and that's May.
Oh.
Can you imagine being that guy in trials? You're laning, you got your sniper out, you're ready to go, you got the shot, your teammate comes up, teabags you, and drops a grenade in front of you with an ice wall as you're taking your shot. Or better yet, you're playing control. You're playing control. You're down by 1 point. You just go to slide into the map, into the spawn to cap it, to finish the cap. Your teammate on the zone dies. You go in there, and your teammate drops a grenade, and you're walled off from capping the zone, and you lose. Because it's gonna happen. At least once. At least once. And you know it. And you know it.
That's some trolly shit, too.
I'm going to be the biggest troll in the game. I'm going to ice wall everybody. All of you.
See, like, I'm thinking from the other side of, like, the non-troll. And I'm like, oh, we're going to be playing trials one day. Carl's is going to be lining up the snipe. And I'm going to be, like, cross-map trying to nade the same guy. Thinking, like, oh, Carl's going to hit the snipe and I'm going to help him. Like, you know, even if he hits the body, my grenade will kill.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna wall off the guy. You're gonna hit my ice wall with your sniper shot. We're then gonna lose.
Well, if I'm lucky, your grenade should still hurt them because in theory, if it's a grenade, I'm wondering if maybe I'm looking at this completely wrong. Maybe stasis, if you're on the same team, will not affect the team at all. In regards to, like, if I throw it at your feet. Remember how they were saying that you could use that as a catapult at a you know, kind of like
in May.
Well, I was gonna say like in May or like Inara from Paladins. She's literally got a card in her kit that will let you put your wall at your feet and launch you into the sky like Junkrat.
Yeah,
that way you could
get
to crazy positions and where normally you wouldn't be. I'm wondering if they're going to make it like that, where if I throw it at your feet, if you throw it at the enemy's feet, it'll hurt them, freeze them. That way I can still get my sniper shot because they're frozen. However, it makes me wonder if they'll even need to be sniped because if they're in ice, maybe they're getting damaged by you. Maybe they were already weak. Maybe you'll kill them with your grenade, and I don't even need to worry about that.
Yeah.
If you hit them with it, I think they'll be frozen. So maybe that won't mess it up. We'll have to see. Maybe we can shoot through it. Is there... Like, you know, like the Titan barricade, can we shoot?
Maybe that's part of blasting it, right? Like maybe if I throw the grenade and you shoot it, it'll shrapnel out on him as well, dealing damage. Yeah, there's so many things. What I really want, and I've heard many other people say something along these lines, because they're calling it stasis. It's ice abilities, right? I want Pokemon in my Destiny. I want you to throw an ice wall grenade at somebody, at like my teammate, and he freeze, and I want to be able to turn and shoot him with my solar gun, and like the ice melt around him. Like I want elements that like battle each other in the battlefield.
Listen, I mean, at this point, we got Zapdos, we got an Articuno, now we got Moltres. I mean, at this point,
we've got are there any it would be a gravity Pokemon. I don't think there's a such thing as gravity though.
Mewtwo. At this point, I think Voidwalkers are Mewtwo. I mean, because it's that weird. I mean, even in the lore, Voidwalker, like in regard the Void is as a subclass. Have you read or heard the lore of the Void?
A little bit.
It's like depending on the class, they each look at it as a different way, and like the Warlock Void is like trippy, like super deep. Like it feels like you're reading someone's acid trip. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. But that's all the exotics that we got.
Yeah, man, that's a pretty extensive list. And look at us thinking that we're gonna be doing 30 minutes. We're already at an hour, and we just got through the list. Yeah. We haven't even looked at the TWAB yet.
Fun fact is that those aren't all the exotics, though.
No, there's so much more.
We know for a fact that those aren't all the exotics because Hawkmoon wasn't shown, and we know that Hawkmoon's coming back.
Yep.
So there's got to be more that we haven't seen.
I mean, let's speculate here while we're on the topic. Vault of Glass is coming back, confirmed. What was the raid exotic from Vault of Glass?
Vex Mythoclast.
Right. In a
Talked about it
time,
today.
in a world where 180 auto rifles are king. Yeah. In a world. Look at you. No, but seriously, in a world where 180 RPM auto rifles are king, was a fusion rifle that shot at 180 RPM. And not only shot at 180 RPM, but was a monster in DPS and would body you in 2.2. It was a 3-shot body shot kill. I remember, no, I'm sorry, 4-shot, but it was like, it was, you know, and you're gone.
Oh, it was so fast.
That would be the Hopscotch Pilgrim with Headseeker at point blank. Like just the DPS alone was huge.
So
I wonder if that'll come back.
I think it will.
I hope it does.
We don't know that Vault of Glass is coming back this season. We just know that it's coming back this year.
Well, that's true. That's true. Speaking actually of raids in general, let's slide into the TWAB, man.
That's so ironic. That was basically all that the TWAB was about.
The whole TWAB is about the raid, and I think we should just like cut and dry this so that way we don't want to ramble on for too long.
Yeah.
Let's break down bullet points here, all right? Because they gave us a lot. It's Saturday, November 21st, 10 a.m. Pacific.
You've got a full week.
Yep.
And then like 5 days.
Yep.
I think that's a great day.
Yep.
Contest mode will be active.
Yep. So let's talk about contest mode really quickly. I think that's important because for folks that don't want to read it, power cap will be 20 power below the each encounter for 24 hours. Artifact power is disabled. 1230, 1,230 power is the team's goal to be at. That's
your magic number. That means last encounter. So that means last encounter is going to be 1250.
Being above it does not give you any advantage, by the way. That's the same thing as doing strikes that are 750 at 1080 or whatever power level you're at now, or over 1,000, and still getting your butt kicked if you're dumb.
So 1250 is going to be the last encounter. So we know 1230 is the number we want to hit before if we're trying for that day one.
If you're going for honor, for World's First, if you're within that time frame, there's it looks like an emblem. So if you don't win, the earliest victors in the raid can claim the emblem. It's for folks that don't do it within World's First, but you can still get a cool emblem if you do it within the first 24 hours while contest mode is active.
Yep.
Pretty sweet.
And so one important thing that I think if you're a Destiny fan, you're used to World's First happens, the announcement is made, immediately you move on. They're not doing that this year.
Nope.
Or this raid.
Tell me more.
They're going to take a little time, look at everything, make sure there's no like cheating or anything like that going on, make sure they have the appropriate winners. They don't want to get anybody's hopes up, making you think you've won because they dropped a bunch of exotics for your entire squad and then realize you beat it 2 minutes after the World's First team. And there was just a glitch.
Right. Or you don't want, I don't know, the notorious World's First that was won officially by a team that had confirmed cheaters in the squad. Which is why they're taking the time this time, because whoever wins World's First, they are actually going to be looking at their logs, looking at the game to make sure that it was legitimate. It's to the point now where World's First rating in Bungie is almost to the same scrutiny as the Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
Or like football.
And I think like it, with as big as Bungie is, like it's an important thing to make sure of.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a huge, World's First is a huge thing. I don't typically partake, but I watch it and I make sure like I'm keeping track of. I've got 3 monitors in front of me, and on those 3 monitors, I'll probably have 12 streams pulled up.
Oh yeah, watching all of them.
People from, and I'm just watching where they at. Oh, where they at. So
I did
think
the same thing. I had 20 tabs open. Every hour or so, I'd switch over to see I wonder what Sweatskull's up to. Let me see how Glad's doing. Let me go see what Dado's doing. Because those guys, watching them is like watching the Olympics in Destiny. Like this is our Super Bowl. Chat, this is the Super Bowl of Destiny. Find a content creator that is going for this and go and watch them, support them. It's super fun to watch. And God knows the anxiety. It's literally almost like watching, not for nothing, let's go 2020 here for a second. It's almost as much anxiety as watching the presidential election results, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and now they're going to take the time to make sure it's right. Sounds a little similar in current events in the United States, at least. But
you're not wrong. They did give Destiny specs for the new consoles, which I think
important stuff. Big
Xbox
stuff.
Series, Microsoft has been gloating about 4K 120, and I think Destiny is kind of showing the cards of like not everybody's reading that right, because when Microsoft says 4K up to 120 frames,
up to,
they mean up to, like
up to,
you're gonna get 4K or you're gonna get 120 frames.
Yeah.
If you want 120 frames, you're gonna have to drop your quality a little bit, probably.
So,
and Destiny, I think, is showing us with 4K 60 frames on the X, the best Xbox.
Yeah. Which, if you're comparing it to what you can get on PC, obviously PC you can jack it up to unlimited. Depending on your rig, you could have 300 frames a second. You'd never see the difference, but you could.
But your monitor won't
Yeah.
won't put that out. Like I got a 165 hertz monitor. My monitor won't, like, I'm capped at 165.
Yeah.
Because my monitor can't refresh fast enough to do the 300 frames.
Although nowadays you can get like 244 hertz monitors and they are stupid expensive. But here's the problem. You compare 144 to a 244, you still cannot tell the difference. It's not like comparing 30 to 60 or 60 to 144. There's such a, it's so negligent. So speaking of negligent, comparing to PlayStation 5, exactly the same across the board, with the only difference being that the next generation upgrade free on the Xbox Series X, it will be a smart delivery, which means it will automatically be ready to go to the next gen. So me, as an Xbox One X owner who is going to I pre-ordered on PC, but I will be buying a copy at some point for my One X, since I'm not going to be upgrading until after holidays. Let's face it, I don't want to pay a scalper or a reseller. At that point, when I go to upgrade my hardware, I'll be able to bring Destiny 2 with me.
Yeah.
Which is huge for me as a gamer, because that is important to me. And PS5 will also just straight up support next gen upgrade for free. So
the only real difference, and it's not going to be an effect for most people, is the Series S. The all digital version is only going to be 1080 by 60 frames. I mean, most people don't have like 4K stuff hooked up. Like, how many people really have a gaming setup that's set up for 4K in general, with their monitors, their TVs?
Let's be fair. Destiny 2 plays at 30 FPS on a One X right now. Going to 60 FPS at 1080p is still a really good upgrade. And if you're the kind of person like me that trades in their old hardware so it can be recycled and I get the money for it, at that point, that's money off and you're getting a less expensive console. It almost makes more sense to get a Series S all digital and upgrade your storage if there's another tier. Yeah. I actually don't know about anything about the Series S because I'm going to get a Series X because that's just what I need.
So here's the interesting thing that I saw while reading through this today.
Yep.
These upgrades will be delivered on December 8th. Not November 10th when the Xbox Series X and Series S comes out.
Yeah. I noticed that.
So that makes me that leads me to believe that you're going to be playing at the 30 frames for a little while Destiny's getting ready to send the update patch. Like, I don't think you're not going to be able to play on your Series X or your Series S. I think you're probably going to like get an update on December 8th that allows Destiny to go to that 60 as kind of their way of like, okay, we're starting our move on to the next gen.
Yeah. Well, and you're right. I think that's a smart play. Let's release the game in its fullest capability now, at its current 30
Mm-hmm.
and then make it a software update.
Yeah.
Everything stays in place, but your software update is basically unlocking the door, to the frame rate. Because to be fair, if you really think about it, there's been times in Destiny on PC, I'm sure it's happened to you, where your registry gets screwed up and you have to go through and mess with the folder. And all of a sudden you go from having, your 144 hertz down to 30 frames and you're like, what the hell's going on? And it's because that folder got messed up and it got locked at 30. It happened to me too. Yeah. It's a line of code, chat. It's a line of code, and it's because they want to make sure that it's stable. I guarantee you that's probably what it is. At least...
And actually, I just read more detail on it, and it does say the next generation optimized version of Destiny 2 will launch on December 8th, while things are faster loading times and cross-generation play will be available on November 10th. So all of it's going to be available November 10th.
Yeah.
Optimized version on the 8th. So yeah, you're exactly right. They're going to make sure it's smooth and going.
Exactly.
And take that.
Not to mention, it's a brand new expansion. There is so much work they've put into this. The last thing that they want to do is have it going full-fledged and find bugs on a game that is supposed to be 110%. This will actually give them a buffer to also fix the bugs that first month or so. Speaking of bugs, let's wrap this up because we're close to the end of the TOB. They finally fixed Cypher decoder drops.
Lord.
Thank God.
Yeah, when the season first launched, I played for hours on end, got one.
Yeah, I think I got 2 in a week.
In the last couple of days, I've been playing Crucible the last couple of days. You've been around for, I think I've got 20.
So I got those 2 that I had the first time I started running through forests, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then before I played with you, I found I didn't know that they had buffed anything. Granted, that Bungie tweet about the Cypher decoders that came out October 8th. That was 8 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that happened 8 days ago, and about 7 days ago, exactly a week ago, I hopped on Destiny 2 right after work, and I got home at like 8 o'clock and sat here from 8 o'clock in the afternoon or in the evening until about 1 o'clock in the morning, just grinding the Nightfall with randoms because I was getting a guaranteed 2 drops, 2 Cypher every single time. So I just sat there and grinded it for, a few hours. And come to find out, after you and me played, I have 7 left. I have 7 total in my inventory. I've already turned in 30. And I need to get another 7 or 8 to get that 45 so I can get that item from Spider or whatever the next step of this secret quest is, whatever it is, or the Triumph. I want the Triumph.
Yeah.
But that was a huge thing, man. Like that, it was easier to get exotics. I don't know if you noticed or not, but the exotic drop rates seem to have increased as well. As soon as they buffed Cypher decoders, I got 3 exotic drops in the wild in 3 days. I haven't had an exotic drop in months. And I had 3 in 3 days. I don't know if it's just bad RNG. 2 of them were in the Nightfall. Don't get me wrong, but one of them dropped during a random I think it was doing a contact event.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I wonder if they're on the same RNG and they buffed that too? Question mark?
Yeah, I don't know. It could be. It could be.
Maybe.
But yeah, that was really the TWAB. There wasn't a huge amount. This was kind of the, they're kind of prepping now. So the TWABs are getting to where they have a little less information because they've given a lot of it away and they want to hold some for the last week or 2.
Wait a minute. Okay. I'm sorry I missed this, but also don't forget, guys, if you turn in those ciphers, that you can get a sick Halloween themed emblem with the pyramid ships that's all black. Sly, did you see that? I missed that. Yeah. I need to reboot my game right now and go get that.
I forgot all about that.
I need that more than anything, and more than anything.
Yeah.
Sly, before we wrap up, because I know that we've been going over, but I want your opinion. What are your thoughts on Festival of the Lost this year? There's a lot of copy and paste feel in the community, and a lot of people aren't happy with it. But I want your thoughts.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with, I don't think this is the Festival of the Lost they had planned for us.
I don't either. I mean,
I think at this point, had they stuck to their original schedule, we would have been in mid-season.
Yeah.
Of
Agreed.
The first season of Beyond Light. I think they had something planned, and when they had to push Beyond Light back, albeit I still think it was a financial thing. I think they got Microsoft money to pull back. I don't think they necessarily needed to pull back. But when they did pull back to November, they were like, well, the new exotics and stuff that we had tied to Festival of the Lost can't be done the way we thought they were. The guns that we had tied to Festival of the Lost can't be done right now. Like, I think when they got pushed back to November, they were like, cool. Rework Festival of the Lost from scratch. Let's take what we've done the last few years and let's run with it. Because I don't think this is what they had planned. And if it is, I'm very saddened at that fact, because I think they can do so much more than this.
See, I'm in the other side of the boat on that one. I think, and maybe it's because of what I do for work. We have a big thing in my job about assuming positive intent.
Mm-hmm.
Always assuming that no matter what is going on, that they're coming from a good place, right?
Yeah.
So, and I don't know why I need to explain that to you. I feel like it's more for the chat. I mean, it's a complex series of words. So where I'm going with this is that I feel like maybe they really were strapped. Maybe legitimately because of the COVID-19 restrictions. I mean, they're still not in the offices, Sly. They're just as restricted as they were back in March when all of this shit first started, when they were, not for nothing, still in like production for a lot of what is going to be Beyond Light. And the entire team's at home. And I feel like maybe they really were strapped. And when they were going through the application process that they are required to submit for the Xbox Game Pass store, because again, they were planning on putting Beyond Light on Game Pass. I'm sorry, not Beyond Light, but just regular Destiny 2 on Game Pass for free before all this, right? That was already kind of a thing. But they had to renew their license and actually put in the license for Beyond Light to be on Xbox for their store. And I have a feeling that when they were in there, Microsoft was like, hey guys, just as a heads up, I know that you're renewing, that you're going for this, and I know that you're prepping for next-gen consoles, and you're literally one of our former partners that we still work with. Maybe you guys might want to hold off a little bit because of this. And Bungie went, oh, thank God we can take a breather because we've been working like dogs from home. Festival of the Lost, fuck it. Take a week off, guys. Copy and paste the code. Let's put in these cipher decoders with a little bit of artwork, which is why that was botched, because they slapped it together. So that way they could take the time to take a break. Because honestly, I think they need it.
Let me throw something else out there, though.
Bring it.
They're doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
But they're ready to launch potential.
Yeah.
They're ready to launch in October or in September like they normally would have. Like they had planned on.
They were ready a month ago, I bet.
And Bungie and Microsoft comes in and goes, hey, like we've had a pretty good relationship for, you know, our lifespan.
Yeah, we bought Halo from you. We like you.
Yeah. You guys are getting ready to launch, and y'all just lost all that Activision money. Can I line your pockets with something to hold back and launch on November 10th, the day that I'm launching our console? Because, by the way, the game that was supposed to launch for our console, Halo, the game you used to create for us,
you know that we
is no longer launching with our console.
Yeah.
So we need a launch title, and we want to make you the launch title. We want to put you on Game Pass, and we want to put a little money in your pockets. That way, you know, maybe you can go back and get Vicarious Visions to work on some stuff for you again, and you don't have to try to do everything for the next year by yourself like you were. And Bungie goes,
Yep.
Oh yeah, it was really not. We did really good stuff when we had other studios working with us. Like, yeah, let's get some of that. Let's get some of that Microsoft money, and let's hire some people to come help us with the next few seasons.
Yeah.
And we'll wait till November.
Yeah. And
So yeah,
I'm right there with you, brother. I'm right there with you. And truthfully, I think that it's most likely, whether it be a watered down version or a full-fledged version of either of those, either way, I think that they're kind of the same story.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Bungie was in financial straits, but
no.
Let's be real. They have a single IP. They're in the middle of working. That's the other thing, guys. They're working on another IP right now. Like, what the fuck? Everyone thinks Bungie is like this. All they do is Destiny. They're literally building a new game from the ground up on top of all of this. Let them work on their new game. It's Halloween time. Go spend time with your families. Wash your hands.
That's true. Wear a mask.
Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Wear a mask under your Halloween mask.
Yeah.
You know?
Actually, I'm going trick-or-treating this year without a mask. No mask whatsoever, because that's what everybody's actually afraid of in 2020. So I knew I'd get that reaction out of you. I would never do that. I work with children. Come on.
I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
I would never.
I'm kidding. But
yeah. Is there anything else on the Destiny? There was one other topic that I think we might have wanted to hit on today that wasn't Destiny related, but I think we can save that for another day, or maybe let that one slide.
Yeah. I'm chilling at the tower right now trying to find my emblem because I'm not seeing it anywhere. And it said if you get 15, you get the ghost and the emblem, and I didn't get one.
Maybe try the Cryptarch. Like, maybe it'll show up in his stuff like the pre-order stuff does. I don't know.
Maybe.
But you know what I am gonna do? I'm gonna go talk to Zur and get away with some getaway artists, because he's selling them, and that's one of the exotics I still don't have.
You still have a getaway artist? Bro, dude, enjoy. Yeah. You're gonna love that thing.
Remember, my account's only like 2 months old now because of the whole PC reset.
Yeah. All right. Well, if that's the case, man, I mean, I think that's all she wrote for tonight's podcast, guys. I hope everyone had a good time. Sly, I thank you so much for all the input, man. Good first Duty Squad pod, man.
Yeah, guys. If you're listening out there on YouTube, anywhere that podcast can be heard, once we get this up there, just remember, as for me and Carl, we love you guys. Don't forget to love each other. Be guardians that make an impact on the world around you. And you know what? You can find me at It's That Sly Guy anywhere on the internet. And Carl, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me Carl on Duty TV, Carl on Duty _TV, or just Carl on Duty. I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. But yeah, that's me. I'm everywhere.
Yeah, guys, all of the links will be right below. But love you guys, and
later.
We'll see you soon.